I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, the little E's. Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of RR After Dark. As you can see, it's like the playoffs here at the podcast. We are eliminating guys left and right, get smaller and smaller that we have here in attendance tonight. But anyway, I'm your host, as always, Nick Alves, driver number 24, Coastal Financial Chevy Camaro. As always, with me, and the only person that's stuck by my side through every episode so far, I think that is right, is Justice Murphy, driver number 12, all about bugs, Chevy Camaro. So today, as you can see, it doesn't look like we have a guest with us if you're viewing on YouTube, but if you are listening to us, you will hear him very shortly. But really quick, we're gonna ask him a few couple of personal questions about himself, racing, iRacing in general. Then we'll talk about the restrictor plate track that we were just at Talladega. We'll actually be speaking to our winner. He's one of the two people that you see before us. So pick who you think won. It's a 50-50 shot till we get there. And then we're going to talk about the next elimination race in the playoffs, which is the Roval, which is a road course, which I suck at. So anyway, without further ado, let's introduce our guest. It is Daniel Holloway, aka Candyman, driver of the number 25 Hershey Kisses Ford Mustang. Daniel, do you have a copy?
I do.
All right, man, what's going on? Hope you're having a great night. First and foremost, let's get the question that everyone wants to know really quick, and the one question I love asking everybody, and I love hearing the answer is, how did you get into iRacing?
I started in back in 2011 when there was starting on the console on the Xbox, and then next thing you know it on a computer. Hearing a few guys talking about iRacing, and started joining that, and it's so different from the console to the computer on the iRacing, and I just stuck with it from then on, and just feels so much more realistic in a way to where you feel the car and stuff. And ever since I done iRacing, I have not really touched a NASCAR one on a console because it's just so different. And so I just been stuck with iRacing, love it, and it's been real fun and met a lot of people on leagues and stuff like that. I don't do a whole lot of officials every now and then I do, but uh, I love doing leagues, so you don't have to worry about your I rating or anything like that. You're focused on racing tracks that if you do good on, then you go to officials and focus on that. You can move up, but I'm more in the leagues instead of the officials, just because I think you got more good racing as far as in the leagues than you do in officials as far as racing people.
Oh, absolutely. I actually have, so actually, this is a two-part question I got for you. One is, when you were on console, were you strictly controller, or did you actually have like a wheel and pedals?
Mainly controller, but then I started with the steering wheel when it was, I think, PlayStation 2, the 50th anniversary. one, and I had a steering wheel, and it's like so much better with the steering wheel. And it's like, yep, I'm done with the controller.
Nah, I like to see the difference that people think when they were in console if they did actually have wheels and pedals because the difference between using wheels and pedals on console to like the PC for iRacing is different. So it's nice to see you like obviously get the transition. So anyway, the second part question that I have for you, you touched upon I rating and officials. That's actually something we've actually never talked about on the podcast before. So just for everyone that's listening that doesn't know that's not into iRacing, iRating is basically your iRacing quote unquote level to let everyone else know and the system know where basically you're ranked in a certain license. There's four
It's a
different
measure
licenses.
of skill.
Thank you. Yeah, there's four different licenses that you can get. So all four of those licenses, whether it be oval, dirt road, all four have different classifying system for that, and they go all the way from license rookie to D, then all the way up to pro, which mostly all of us have here is an A license, which is majority of the people that have in our league, and that just shows you the type of like how high caliber drivers we have in the league. But anyway, sorry to venture off there. But my part second real question I wanted to ask you, you touched upon officials and you said that you didn't really do them. Are you more keen to do officials now since our schedule follows the real life NASCAR schedule and it also follows basically where the officials go?
I do more in the practice to get the car to feel. It's been a while since I've raced the next gen because I've been mainly on the trucks and the Gen 4s a little bit, um, and the Xfinity cars. And I wanted to get back into the next gen cars, and it might be a question where how I found you guys and stuff, but I love the drafting of the next gen cars. Earlier this year, I tried it out for the Podium 500 and was lucky enough to make the top 40. And uh, that long race just, felt so good with that car and still learning this car, um, the drafting and everything, and it changes all the time. But I just want to get back into that next gen car, and then here I find out with you guys.
So there's the next main question. How did you find us?
Well, I was in a different league, which is called Graceland Shootout Series. That's when Simtrax was broadcasting that league. And so I watched his other broadcast, and my Wednesdays were getting freed up too, because I was racing in a different league also, but I wanted to take a break from super speedways. And the first time I watched you guys was at the Chicago road course, and I was like, hmm, those I don't know all the names of everybody, but those Chapman's Ford Mustang guys. So I'm like, I want to challenge them boys in these cars. They look pretty good, strong, but my momentum was in my mind was thinking I could beat them. But once I got back into the car and joined you guys the week after, and it was like a whole new learning curve, and I'm like, let me take two steps back. Let me learn the car first, learn you guys as far as drivers, as far as everybody, and show respect of who I am to everybody, and let everybody know who I am as far as my driving style, skills, for respect for everybody, especially if I'm not doing well, and you guys are catching me as far as a lap down, I'm gonna give you room. Um, and then vice versa as far as on that. So, but yeah, it was the broadcast is what got me into your league and loving every minute. Yep, I got some bad finishes, but this season I'm not worried about points because it's just halfway through or three-quarters of the way this season. I just wanted to race and learn the car, and then start next season, show what I can do.
Alright, so I know obviously since you joined like after Chicago, so it's kind of obviously in the second half of our season. Obviously, you've been here throughout playoffs. So far, what are your impressions of Racing Revolution so far? Like, driver-wise, schedule-wise, how we handle things, whatever you want to talk about.
Depth of field.
Mid 20s, is still a great field. I think of on a weekly basis like that. It's hard, even in the playoffs. You still have in mid 20s to pushing close to 30, and uh, and we're already, like you said, halfway through the playoffs, and everybody's still showing up, which I love. Competition is great because it's not just a few drivers out there like in some leagues where they always dominate it. Every week it's somebody different, and you just don't know who that is. And then you learn how they race and stuff. Their strategies too, like from last night. I love fuel strategies. I love that type of tires and stuff. Well, really, I got used to that I had never seen with you guys also was the uh, with two to go, choose your line as far as on the restarts and stuff. I have not seen nobody done that. I love it. It's a great idea, and hopefully iRacing will build that in there to where it's a lot easier for you guys in race controls to not worry about that. It took me a little bit. I know I got yelled at a couple times from race control, as far as read the rule books and stuff, which, scanning it, reading it, and then it just takes time. That's all it was. Um, and then just showing who I was. I love everybody in this league. Everybody's got their own personality, wide open, no filter. I'm learning that from Justice already.
Oh yeah.
um, and with you, Nick, too. It was fun racing with you guys in chat last night. I told you last night that it was hard for me to push that 24, but I still did it for you.
Yeah, it's fun. You got to know which buttons to push. So you got to be in the team chat last night. That's probably got the most available buttons to activate different modes for these guys, man. You never know. You could set them off, or you could make them die laughing. But
That is true, and that's what I'm open to all that, and hopefully everybody. I've gotten a few messages past few weeks of individuals, glad to be join this league, and I think some of them guys are kind of worried about next season. I could make the playoffs, make a little noise, but like I said, for this season, I'm just here to race, and I'm not worried about points, and just get finishes, and pick up a team.
I know you said you liked everyone in the league, but there has to be one person at least who grinds your gears just a tad bit in the league.
Well, as of right now, well, there was one.
After that Texas race, I may have thought there may have been one person.
Oh yeah, Robert, him and I, got a little rubbing, but
yeah,
he messaged me right after the race, and he's like, "Yep, that was all on me." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know that was all you, but you know what? It's all good. That's hard racing, anyways." But I said the best thing about it was that when I got spun, he didn't get damaged, I didn't get damaged, saved my car, still finished 11, and I think I finished seventh in Texas. So still kept a clean car. That was hard racing. He's fighting for playoff points. Uh, and if you switch the driving style as far as me in the playoffs, him not there, would I would do the same? I would say so. Yeah, if you're fighting for playoff points and you're right there in the top 10, I would have done the same. But like I said, that's where I'm still learning everybody as far as who's aggressive, who's close up tight to you on that bumper, and what to do in that situation too. So still learning.
sorry. Rob's got a thing for wrecking people in the state of Texas, man. Been there,
That's
done
where
that.
all his exes could be living in
Eh,
Texas.
for sure. He and I have tangled once or twice down in Austin.
So so it's great. Thank you for that perfect speech. That's kind of like a little promo. We should put that on like a fucking billboard or something and have an audio for all everyone to
It
listen
goes on the
of for
website,
our league.
Nick. Put it
Yeah,
on the website.
I'll clip all everything that you
uh,
just said and post it. But so yeah, no, seriously, thank you. We love the especially for new guys, their impression of the league, and we like to hear their feedback. And we do love that you love the choose code. That's one of the things that we actually do really pride ourselves on, and the one thing that we've always said that we would keep since we started doing it. We think it adds like another level um, of just unexpectedness and excitement to the restarts that we can do. Also, Where's I gonna go with this? Oh yeah, sorry. There was one thing that you said that I wanted to touch upon. You said that Rob messaged you right away after the race. The one thing I will say about this league, regardless of there's idiots sometimes, like people can get you under your skin and make dumbass moves, but the one thing this league is very good at is accountability. And it doesn't matter regardless if they say it in the race, after the race, voice message, DM you, whatever. Uh, that's one thing I do enjoy about the accountability, and people do understand when they do something wrong, and it's nice. So anyway,
Yep,
to,
that's for sure. I agree on that. Yep.
perfect. Now to get off that subject, now all you people that are out there that are listening or watching, your votes have been tallied. They came up, and apparently you guys thought I won Talladega. I didn't. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so the person that won Talladega is now going to take it away and talk about that race a little bit, and then we're going to get actually Daniel's perspective on one of the topics we're going to talk about.
Oh man, left the floor to me. All right. No, hey, that was fun. I don't know. I had a weird thing. I told myself I'd be a little more aggressive last night because when we went to Daytona at the end of the regular season, it was like I was uninvolved. Like I was disassociated with everything there. I just kind of cruised around and finished like 11th and was just like, whatever. I don't know. It was weird. The cars are, and I know Daniel says he likes them on the drafting style tracks, but the cars have so much drag, man. It takes forever to build a run, and then we're out there trying to save fuel. But yeah, it was interesting. I lost a lap before the stage. Luckily enough, got to the stage end. I was the only car on my lap, so I got the lap back. And then we were working with you boys over at Performance, and you and Bennett, Maddie, and Alex, and so got to drag Daniel in there with us as a future teammate of mine. He'd be a teammate 2024. So yeah, it was a fun one. We just kind of got on the right strategy and got on the right side of the luck. I mean, it takes some skill to put yourself in the position to be there, but it also takes quite a bit of luck. I mean, you have to be in the perfect position in line. I mean, especially last night where we're saving fuel. You were one car behind me or two cars behind me for part of that last run or second to last run, and you were one lap short and I was two laps good to like the second to last or the last pit stop, and it resulted in you having to pit and me not having to. Same with Bennett, Holloway. Like there was four of us that were good on fuel. We just placed ourselves perfectly in the pack. It was me, Alex, Grant, and Lomax, and then we got a caution there with 6 to go. Went green with 2 to go. What really surprised me is that there wasn't a wreck on the first lap. But again, that goes back to these cars have so much drag. It takes an entire lap to get them wound up. So, kind of pushed Alex as far out there as I could. Got out there, and when we got to the tri-oval, kind of made Grant make a decision. Basically, I think Grant would have jumped out had I not. But when I jumped out, Grant was willing to push me, keep Alex from locking in. So, yeah, end of the day, get the 12 car parked in victory lane. Second last week at Texas, win last night, and then go into a track where I know the expectations for me are like top five or bust. Yeah, it's there, but yeah, Talladega was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure there's a lot of people that aren't happy. As Nick says, one guy leaves there happy, everybody else is pissed off.
How it usually happens. Now, Daniel, the one thing I wanted to ask you, and Justice talked about it a little bit, you were in our team chat last night. Now, obviously, you were in other leagues prior to this and still are. What did you think about the teamwork, and or has the teamwork been like that in other leagues, or did you think last night was something different you haven't encountered yet, like with strategy and teamwork wise?
Teamwork wise, that was pretty spit on as far as what I'm used to from other leagues that I've been on. I've won a couple championships, actually about four championships in different leagues in the super speedways of teamwork, fuel strategy, positioning yourself, and then helping each other out as far as who needed a win, who needs to move into the next round. That was pretty. I was so it felt pretty good for me because it kind of felt right into what I was used to as far as a different league and team. So it was pretty easy, spit on. Everybody was talking to each other. That's what I love too, because everybody's still a little bit different as far as because one person could be short, especially when I had Matt Robinson earlier in the race for stage wise, and I pushed him. He was out there for leading for a while. Um, he needed a little bit fuel before we do, but my perspective was that I was saving, so it was hurting him a little bit more. Then we vice versa after that first pit stop before that stage 30, which unfortunately he got caught up in a wreck there, but we were in great position on making the move right then and there. And like I said, for me, it's just I wasn't there for points or anything, helping you guys out, especially the guys who are in the playoffs. Um, I, Me personally, I'll help anybody out. It's not just I won't single anybody except for if you're in the playoffs and I'm in the playoffs, yeah, that's a different story. But with me, especially for last night, I help everybody out. That's just who I am.
No, and we appreciate it, and we loved having both you guys on our team chat. And it was actually it's the first time we us Performance and Justice's team actually worked together uh on purpose, I'll say. But so last night, actually, I don't know if you noticed in Discord, there was a lot of people complaining about a certain thing that went on during that race, and it's something you both touched upon so far. It was the fuel strategy. Now, I understand people's frustrations with fuel strategy. I get it. But it's something all of us have to deal with. And like Justice said, you put yourself in a position where you can make it because of the fuel strategy, whereas there's a certain team that went balls to the wall throughout the whole race, and we all knew they weren't going to make it. And we saw them fly by on the outside. We're like, "Yep, see you later. Go right ahead, right to the front. We'll slow it right down for you guys." But what
So it's
so
really funny. I wanted to talk on that, Nick, just for a second, just because
you know,
yeah, the history that Alex and I have had, right? Like, so you
absolutely.
don't expect that to be the pairing that works so well together, but really, like, it was like Daniel and Maddie were really kind of working well together. You and Bennett, and then me and Alex were around each other, so we were really pushing each other, and it was so funny right there on that run. We're watching that team go by over the top, and I go, Alex, because I can see him kind of like, anything. I'm like, Alex, they do not have enough fuel. We can't get involved in pushing here. We need to run at 75% throttle. He's like, it bothers me, but I know it's for the better. It bothers me, but I know it's for the better. Like he said it like 3 times. It's so funny. So yeah, it was really fun part of working with him. I know, Jess. I know you're gonna watch this. I know you were pretty pissed, but about the ending. But yeah, we worked really well together, which is really funny. But yeah, it's one of those things, right? You come to, or Bennett comes to me and goes, "Hey, you want to work with us?" Yeah, absolutely, right. I've pushed you to a win at a super speedway, right? And the quick cars at supers have a way of finding each other's bumpers, right? Like, but I've kind of made myself one of those guys that, Trevor needs a push. He knows he can take my bumper, right? Kevin knows he can push me, but you guys of all people, you and Bennett and Matt have been around me enough to know I'm not a dangerous push. I'm not a dangerous pusher. So that's how you end up forming those kind of super speedway relationships. And then Alex got to see that last night, and in a different situation, right? If that's a regular season win, maybe I'd stay behind him and just get him into the playoffs to help, But I'm not too worried about Alex. Alex will put in the work this week, see what he's got. But yeah, I thought it was really funny for the history that Alex and I have together. We were the ones working so well.
It was funny coming to when we were got the what was it? Yeah, we was two go right after the choose cone. Alex is like he after the choose cone we realized the two guys in front of him go low and he's up high. He's like, "Yes, let's go, Justice." And I'm like, "This son of a bitch, he knows who he's talking to right now, right?"
Yeah,
And anyway, so he's like, "Hey, Justice, when we're on the back, if we're clear, if you're clear, You let me know. And then as soon as the green flag, he was all excited that you guys were clear at the same time, and you're assuring him, dude, I'm not leaving you. Don't worry, we got this. All of a sudden, I'm in the wreck in the back, on it, coming on the back, going into turn three. Meanwhile, I'm like trying to control the car. I can hear you guys talking. I hear you saying, "Oh, just me and you, Alex. Don't worry, we got this." I'm like, "This son of a bitch, he's gonna pass him. I know he's gonna fucking pass him." And sure enough, after everything,
So
I hear Justice scream. I'm like, "Oh,
you
maybe."
hear me go, big win.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh," I was like, maybe Alex won." So I was like, "Good job, Alex." Then all of a sudden, I hear Grant mic up saying, "Congratulations, Jess." I'm like, "Oh." He was talking about himself. I thought he would have been a little bit more excited for him winning, but he was like big win and he didn't like say it like to himself. He
Mhm.
was saying, I thought he was saying it to Alex, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, that restart right there on that last one, that was fun, even though I got caught up in it. But I did that by myself to catch those two, and then within the lap, and surprised Justice because I don't think he expected me coming that quick. And
Mhm.
um, I had so much momentum, and I knew that high side was checking up. Took the outside by myself, past two cars. I think I saw Tyler, or not Tyler, the 45. I think it's Tyler.
Yeah, it's Tyler.
Um, so that him and two other guys was gonna pass or try to pass Justice and Alex, and I dove right inside the middle. And by the time we got out to turn four, I was hitting Justice in the bumper, gave him a push into Alex, and those two had a momentum going. And then they dove inside. I had no help behind me, and then I started catching up, and then backstretch, Talladega. There's the big one. That was pretty much it. And then I saw you, Nick. You was I know you needed positions, and I just got behind you and just pushed you
Oh, yeah,
to.
yeah,
I
that
think
was
it was
after the wreck. I was like,
yeah.
I was chugging through the grass as hard as I could, and all of a sudden I get back on the track, and all of a sudden I see this fucking silver car behind me slam me in the ass, and I just slingshot it right through two guys to not finish 18th. I ended up getting 15th, which was nice. So definitely for a
Hmm.
playoff, it helped me out a little bit. So if I make it in on by two or less points next week, I'll shout you out for sure. I really appreciate that. But
I've been in that situation. 1 point. I've lost going into the final four by 1 point. So every point matters.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I always kept preaching to the guys in team chat since race number one of playoffs. Whatever happens to you, stick it out because you never know what's going to happen. So, but on that, because there's actually two drivers kind of got screwed over by iRacing a little bit. One driver not so much because, he already won last week. But something I wanted to touch upon really quick was Tay and Trevor. We've actually never seen this before at a super speedway where both of them got penalties leaving pit road. And both of them actually did it at the same reason, but different spots. So Tay got unsafe exit of pit road because he actually had two of his right side tires on the yellow line, but they were fifth. See if I can say this correctly, the tire tread was 50% more to the outside than an inside, so he received a unsafe pit exit. Trevor did the same thing, however, he did it on the apron coming, and he like lost handle of the car, slid up the track a little bit, but same thing. More than 50% of his right side tires were over the yellow line, so it caused him to also get a penalty. Now, unfortunately, we do clear penalties, certain penalties, but when iRacing hands out a black flag, we will not clear that penalty. So Trevor and Tay both had to serve their penalties. Now, fast forward a few laps where we did green flag pit stops again. Parker lost control of his car leaving the pit road, and it caused Bennett and Lomax, I believe, to I'm sorry, it was Dylan Smoot. It was Dylan
Smoot.
Smoot.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, it
92.
was Dylan Smoot. And they had to. Well, Bennett got hit and he crossed over the apron line. Smoot had to avoid Parker and he went in between Parker and Bennett, but he also crossed over the line. That's the only instance we'll actually clear that penalty is if you are avoiding a wreck. So unfortunately for Tay and Trevor, they had to serve it, but I think Tay recovered pretty decently and got. I think he finished like maybe in the top 10. I think if not the top 12. Trevor don't really care about you. You won last
Uh,
week. You could have fucked off earlier. You didn't. Whatever. But
yeah, Trevor was laps down. Like I think he was multiple laps
yeah.
down.
Yeah, so ultimately it didn't really matter for him. But anyway, do you boys have any other thoughts of Dega before we move on to the most exciting road course of the year?
No, I'm gonna say something for the boys that were calling it Le Mickey Mouse earlier in the chat. You can say what you want, but there's a reason the same people end up front in these things most of the time, and it's because it's not Le Mickey Mouse. The fuel strategy part of it. I mean, yeah, we want these things to play out as much like IRL as we can get them, right? And although we only have one stage, ultimately it's a fuel mileage game the whole way, right? Because if I can save a little more fuel, even if we split it into another stage and we run every stage basically 30 laps, like if I play, excuse me, if I play the fuel mileage game a little bit better, I can stay on pit road a little bit less time and then I can get the track position, and so on and so forth. Like there's games to be played all the way around. So the one stage thing, us only having one stage versus real life doesn't matter. You're playing the fuel mileage game the whole way in that race. Um, and basically, what I told him earlier in that chat was, if you don't like it, tell NASCAR to make the race 400 miles, so ours is only 200, and that'll fix it. But if we're all out there pushing full bore the whole time, not trying to save fuel, you are going to see absolutely no passing. We're going to be 2 by 2, can't pass anybody because the cars are too draggy. So, no, it just kind of annoys me. I got to hear things like Mickey Mouse this, Mickey Mouse that. I can promise you in this league, and with the strength of field we're dealing with week to week, there's no Mickey Mouse wins here. You
So,
won, you earned it.
so we'll actually follow on that whole Mickey Mouse trend of super speedway. So the fun fact of the day, if you follow the Facebook RR page, you'll notice that it's not actually Mickey Mouse wins at the super speedways because now, shout out to Bennett, I'm gonna change up the stat a little bit. Out of the last 13 super speedways races that we have gone to, 11 of the last 13 have been won by admins. Now, the admin team is 6 drivers that make up this league. The admin team is outnumbered by the rest of the league 5 to 1. So, obviously, for every one admin, there's 5 drivers that show up, right? So, average, we average 30 guys at least for super speedways, even more for super speedways because that's when everyone comes out of the woodwork to race. So, anyway, Mickey Mouse not so much because the same six. I'm not actually not even six. Only 5 of us admins have won at Super Speedway, so it makes it even less Mickey Mouse if you really want to think about it.
Yeah, it's in the next gen car, the admin team has won all but one of the super speedway races. And to be fair, that's your fault, Nick.
I know it should be 12
Should
out of
have been all
12. It should
12.
be.
You should have won all 12 of them, but you wouldn't freaking shift gears.
Yeah. But
Shifted
anyway,
burns one.
One
but
thing
anyway,
I gotta say is I love the fuel mileage scenario because it can change the velocity of your drive style, what to do, tires, no tires. Well, how many laps do I need to do to save? I had to save 3 laps in two pits last night, and I was pretty much on that first one. I had to do that extra lap, and I got into my pit stall with point .1 and just sputtered. That one lap I stayed out gave me that opportunity to where if it went green all the way, I had point .2 to the good to make it to the end. And I wish that caution didn't come out because there was quite a few around us, and I think I know I would have had a better finish than 16th, but the way I was running last night, and I love the fuel mileage because it throws that character into a super speedway. It doesn't matter what vehicle too, because fuel mileage or fuel strategy, it could be any car.
I think
If you remember last night in the chat, I was in there going, hey, if you want to make it on one more stop, you're gonna have to run this tank bone dry. And then I tried to tell Bennett the same thing. I'm like, Bennett, I would try to run it out. Like you have to try to run it out. And he unfortunately cycled to the lead because people in front of him pitted earlier. But yeah, to me, the fuel strategy is part of racing. I mean, hey, that's part of it is figuring out how do I run my fuel mileage to maximize every bit of time I can.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think.
You're muted, Nick.
Am I really?
We can't hear you.
Wait,
I hear him.
yeah. Did you mute me?
No, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Well, that was weird. Anyway, anyway, uh, there's more fuel mileage races in our league than what the viewers notice,
Hmm.
and we actually push the car. I shouldn't say the car, the fuel cell to the max limit that it can be most races, just so we can make it that extra one lap. Because that extra lap, the extra mile, the extra, whatever you can save or whatever you can run it out to actually helps you out in the long run. And you've seen it play out numerous times. Uh,
And let's talk
Pocono,
about a quick feature
yeah.
of iRacing that got put in what Nick probably 4 months ago is auto fuel.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
you got to be
yeah.
very careful because
That'll fuck you.
Last week in Texas, I played it perfectly. Like I had it split up right, and I forgot to turn auto fuel off, and I ran out literally at the line. Like I almost was short because of auto fuel.
Yeah, no. Thanks, iRacing, for that great feature. Now we always have to remember just to unclick it every single time we get off a pit road. But
Hey,
anyway,
I had to remind Alex of that too
he
last
did, yeah.
night.
He goes, "Oh,
He
I
would have
almost
run
forgot."
himself way
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now a little three. Actually, this is really is a 360 of tracks that we're going go to here. So we go from the high banks, high speed of Talladega to another uh fast, intermediate track. But wait, we're not going to the immediate track. We're actually going to do the inner road course at the Charlotte Roval. So, um, I actually don't know your thoughts about road courses, Daniel. So I'm going to kick it over to you. And one, what do you think about road courses? And two, how do you think the Roval compares to other road courses? And what are your expectations at the Charlotte Roval?
For me, I won't be close to the front, that's for sure. I'm not a big road course driver as far as in these cars and on iRacing. I haven't really focused on that. Um, I do like watching it. I think the Charlotte one is a good road course too. Love the Daytona road course. I'm going again for that 24 hour. Again this year, gonna do that again in the hybrid. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, oh, I see what you're pointing at, Nick.
We drive the Porsche here. Some
Porsche,
Or
some
the
okay.
some of us do. Some
or
of
the
us do.
Ferrari. Yeah. Oh god, y'all wrecked the
I
Porsche.
want the speed. I love the speed and passing those slower cars. To me personally, it throws a better or a bigger challenge because you got to time that with a faster car to a slower cars and stuff. But road courses for me is not my strong point right now. I thought Watkins Glen I was going to go in there for a top 15. No, no. I got a lot to learn with this car and when to the shifting parts and stuff. So I'm not a strong road course person as far as as of now. Down the
There
road, I need to practice more. Yeah, I'll get better.
there are people that would say you have a good teammate that'll be able to help that.
And
Yeah,
that's for sure
Jacob's really
too.
good at road courses.
Jacob is great. Yeah.
Yep, and that's one thing about in this league, being a teammate. In here, by myself, I don't get info like that and share as far as within the team. I'm looking forward to next year joining Justice and Jacob and
We'll have
learning
TK
more.
as well. Yeah, Trevor
And
Keith.
yep, and then and it's gonna make me stronger as a team wise too. For my feedbacks on some of these other races too, and the ovals that I could be good and strong at, in like at Talladega and Daytona. Um, there's where the trust is as far as myself and the teams. Um, so yeah, road courses. I'm just gonna be out there riding. My focus is just to keep the car clean and just finish strong. Just race the course, not the cars.
Nice, thank you. Justice, I know you're obviously a somewhat semi decent at road courses. How do you rank the Roval compared to others?
Ooh, man, the Roval has more more first gear corners than most places we go in this car. The only other one that's close is like Coda. Coda has three basically first gear corners. Um, no, I'm sorry. Coda's got three first gear corners. The Roval's gonna have like four or five, depending on how you want to run it. So, um, I think the biggest thing is going to be if you can avoid the chaos on the start and the stage break restart, because we have to go through the front stretch chicane to get there. So, the restart zone will be right in the middle of the chicane. It's even weirder. So, the further forward you're going to be, the better off you're going to be. The guys that qualify 15th to 20th are going to have a real hard time making up the gap they're going to get screwed off by right from the get go. So,
That's me.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You've got guys that really need good qualifying runs. Yourself, Nick, um, Bennett, who's -3 to the line. Your other two teammates, I mean, y'all are all sandwiched together at the line. TK's -10. He's going to need a big qualifying effort. And then you're going to see probably the same thing you see in real life, where you may see some guys flip a stage to try to help their fuel mileage on the back end. I know for somebody like myself, that would probably be pretty beneficial because you don't, unfortunately, on iRacing, have to ever take tires when you're running a road course. So, according to the weather forecast I looked at, like Wednesday in Charlotte would be 76. So track temp probably be 92, 93, which would be 25 degrees cooler than we've seen in officials. So you're going to see some guys run some really, really fast laps. Some guys used to not having grip, and they're going to have grip somewhere, and they're probably going to toe link themselves.
Now, next question to you, Daniel, because we all know, apparently from yourself saying this already, you're not really too keen on road courses. Your mindset, right? Going into a road course, do you go into a road course as saying, hey, I'm just looking to survive? Is it different than going into an oval track? Like how do you go into a road course and say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do and this is my expectations, like to deal with?
At first, I just want to learn the cars and shifting stuff and what I need to set my stuff as far as the brake bias, steering, and everything. And then I'll look at these guys that are quick on their fast times and push hard as I can to see what's my weakness or what do I need to change and let somebody else faster for that's doing the breaking points. What do I need to learn as far as make myself better? I don't want to be one of those where I'm just out there to ride and stuff like that. I want to get better, and the only way to learn it is watching these other guys that are quicker. What are they doing? What am I not doing? What can I learn from them? Especially in practice, um, when are when are they shifting or when they're accelerating? How they're taking the angles of these sharp turns that you're going down. Like I think Justice says, you're going to be in first gear. How do you're going to set yourself coming out of the corner and having a good run? So I know that right there is probably a momentum setting up for your next turn. It's a lot of learning is what for me. Um, I don't want to be one of those. Yep, I'm just here to ride. Just finish where I want to finish. Nope. I want to learn, push myself, and see what I can do and get better at it. That's all you can do.
So obviously you ran Watkins Glen with us. Now, did you notice that we do not allow the racing line at all to be on?
No, I like it because I mean you're in the next gen cars. I mean, you're in the top series car. You don't really, if you want that, that's where you practice on your own, seeing where it's at. But sometimes I think an iRacing part could be off. What they think is perfect, and everybody else is different too. So everybody's got their different point of view as far as when to brake and set things up too. So it can actually throw you off too a little bit, I think. Um, Especially some of these ovals that I used to when I first started with it. And it's like, oh, I'm supposed to brake going into turn one, but if I coast better, I don't need to hit my brakes and I'm quicker timing. So, especially on road courses, I don't even use it anyways. At first, I thought that was going to help me, but like I said, more you put laps into it, only the better you're going to be.
It's about half the time the suggested line too into some of these road course corners is so far off, like half a car length, and if you're half a car length off, you're missing the next corner. It's just not
Yep,
worth messing with.
right, and that's what I don't even worry about having those on anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, this is, top-notch car. You don't need those lines or anything like that.
It's funny. A little fun fact about myself. When I first got iRacing, what is it? What were we? 3, 4 years ago. When I first started, I only did ovals, and I was like, what, I'm gonna start doing road courses and stuff like that, right? So when I was first started running in the Mazda series, I always had the line on, and I was like, oh, I kind of need this. Then something kicked in my mind. I was like, wait a minute. I know these tracks. I watch F1. I watch IMSA. I watch NASCAR all the time. I know where all the hell these corners are. So I think the driving line only suits you if you don't know the track layout, in my mind.
Correct. Yep. Usually, yes. Yeah. Especially if freshly buying a track, you want to see what they think, and then that's where you start adjusting. What definitely helped me was that I just had a NASCAR steering wheel. Now I have a Fanatic DDL. I have now a NASCAR steering wheel and now a Formula One steering wheel. And I used a Formula One steering wheel, and I think my time has definitely helped me picking up a second or two from my other steering wheel. And uh, that the between those two different steering wheels is like the turning is much more. I call it crisp because it's like on the Formula steering wheel, it's a lot easier to turn to me than it is on my NASCAR steering wheel.
Oh, I can agree.
Significantly smaller radius on the wheel
Yes,
helps.
for sure.
So Daniel, I haven't, I'm not even gonna ask this yet. Um, One thing that we always do, I don't know if you listen to the podcast, but one thing that we do at the end of every episode, we always ask for our guest to do this first. You're gonna pick a winner, and you're gonna pick an upset winner for the upcoming tracks, obviously at the Roval. So, would you like to go first in picking a winner and an upset winner?
All right. So after getting handed to by
Cannot choose
everybody at
yourself.
Watkins Glen would be Mr. Jeremy Burns, especially at Watkins Glen, how he just drove away in that one. So I think if he's pretty good with those road courses, I think he's probably my pick because he's pretty quick, unless somebody accidentally wreck him. But that'd be my pick as far as that upset. Like I said, I'm still learning everybody, so I don't know who's all. Um,
If you don't know names, you can say number or
I want to
whatever.
say, and I've raced with this guy in a couple different leagues, and I still new with him. Grant Turner. He runs pretty good at road courses and other leagues that I've started racing with him. So he's been quiet. I know he's been every top five. So I'm gonna say my upset winner could be Grant Turner.
Nice. I haven't heard his name in a while, so that's good for him to be popping out here. Justice, would you like to go next, sir?
Golly, Daniel took the layup.
As they
Um,
normally do.
yeah, mm, mm. I'm gonna take a weird one for the winner. Guy that has one road course win in the league, but has not really been competitive since then, and that's gonna be Rob. Yeah, so Rob's got the win at the Glen in season one, and really has not done much since. But I just expect him to kind of be around. He'll get some help from Jeremy this week. He'll make something work. Um, Upset winner. Hmm, I don't want to do it to him. I'm gonna take Michael Bennett.
Okay,
Lock
I
himself in.
I think I know who your upset winner is going to be, and that was going to be my choice. So we'll see if I get that correct or not. So my other layup winner for this would actually be something that has nothing to lose. He's going to go out there. Hopefully, he He can wreck a few of the fast guys for me. That's gonna be the guy to my left here, or to his right, or whatever. It's gonna be Justice. The upset winner that I have is actually someone that has kind of hit a switch and took some pride in doing real courses, and he actually has caught my eye. He's actually decently fast at road courses, and he's actually even surprised myself. And it's someone I talk to almost on a daily basis, and that's going to be Matthew Robinson. I think he's going to have a real good showing at the Roval this Wednesday. Now, really quick, I think I can pull it up here for everyone to see. Hold on, give me a second. Um, Daniel, while I'm pulling this up, I'm going to ask you a question that I haven't asked in a while. When you go to the grocery store, what's the thing that you push that has four wheels?
I know you've said that every week I've been watching this podcast. It's a cart.
Thank God.
Anyway.
Even the cheeseheads know, Nick.
You're from Wisconsin?
I live in Wisconsin, yes.
Nice.
Originally born in Florida, but graduated in Virginia. But I am settled in Wisconsin.
Okay, so you guys can't see this, but I just pulled up the point standings just so everyone that's watching, my God, on YouTube can see. So really quick, basically 1 through 5 are basically locked in here. I can really say 1 through 6 because unless Rob has a really horrible showing at the Roval, he's gonna make it in. So the guys that I am assuming are gonna be in just by showing up next week would be Burns, Thorpe, Gilbert, Earhart, Loveland, and Rob. The drivers who have to either race their way to a win or do very good would have to be seventh place Alex, Forget Berube. Eighth place, Matthew Robinson. Sorry, I should actually do this. Alex, who's in seventh place, is 8 points to the good. Matthew Robinson sitting in eighth is 3 points to the good. Then outside looking in is in ninth place, Michael Bennett. He is -3. 10th place is myself, -5. Then we have 11th, Tay McDonald. He's -8. And then in 12th place, Trevor Keith. He's -10. I think I, to be fair, I don't think any of them are going into this with a must win. But if one person is going in as a must win, I would say it has to obviously be Trevor Keith because he's the furthest one out. So he's the one that's due majority of the points here. But do we really want to quickly? I don't know if you want to do this, but really quick, do you want to see out of those, was it six drivers, who do you think the two are going to be making it to the next round?
Yeah, I would say it will be Bennett and Alex.
Okay. I actually am going to concur on that. Wait, I think that's the right. That means
Hmm.
agree, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I concur with you. Even though, yes, I know I would love to see myself in the top eight, but I respect the road course racers, and I'm actually out of the four guys on my team, obviously being Alex, Matt, Bennett, and myself. I am probably the worst on road courses, so I respect their skill and their driving style. I think Berube and Bennett are going to get in. Um, Daniel,
But
who do you? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say anything can happen.
That is very true.
Anything can happen.
It is true. So anything is possible. Hell, I mean, fucking Tay and Trevor might be the ones to advance in their 11th and 12th right now. So again, anything can happen, and probably something really weird will happen, and you're gonna see the top eight be an unexpected eight, I should say. But
I would say is just looking at the playoff points right now, and I've been in both situations where I was on the outside looking in, and that's where that 1 point I have won it or been in it or been out of it. But yeah, Bennett and Robinson, that's 3 points difference. I mean, and we were averaging mid 20s, so I mean that's a lot of points right there, and also no stages if you don't get stages. So Nick, I mean, you've got a shot. You're right there still. I mean, like I said, anything can happen. Um, I think Alex, he said that he's a pretty good road course.
he is, yes.
Yep. So I would say he will probably in. I think the battle will be that eighth place right there. with Robinson, Bennett, and you. I think Tay's got a lot to have some luck as far as you guys having a bad night or a penalty or getting a wreck. I think Trevor, I'm not sure if Trevor's good at the road courses or not, but that's 10 points, even though it doesn't look a whole lot, but that's actually a lot right there going into the final race, right? For the
Yes.
next round.
Yeah.
So that's pretty tough.
Well, thank you for your input. Yes, I know it's gonna be hard for the broadcast to keep track of everything, but if they can get the stage points correctly, they can monitor that cut line pretty well throughout that race since it is a road course. I'm not gonna say it's a snooze fest, but it definitely makes you lose things to talk about when there's not bunches of cars racing around. But it is the Roval, so I do expect at least a battle going on every single lap. So, excuse me. Without further ado, Daniel, it was great getting to talk to you, great getting to know you. I know we kind of spoke for the very first time last night, being in the same team chat. Again, it was great having you in the team chat last night. I know uh, our teams are probably going to be working together next year, if not even for a couple of races here at the final few races that we got going on here. But thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. And I really do appreciate the love and enthusiasm you have for this league, and also your enthusiasm to want to come on here and join us to talk to us for a few minutes.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to say thank you for having me, here tonight, and also accepting me in this league, and um, hopefully, many seasons down the road. Um, I know next season, depending, my kid's sports scheduling, because he's starting high school, so might be a little rough at the beginning, but anything can happen. But um, love racing with you guys. And separate from this league from other leagues that I've been into. A lot of respect as for what I've seen, and just the competitive is what I love. I thought, like I said earlier in the broadcast, that ooh, I can come in here. I think I can beat everybody. Nope. Let me sit back a couple times, but and then work myself up. But and I got a question for you, Nick,
Yeah.
and Justice. That when I first came into this league, and you guys are watching the broadcast and stuff, and how he's saying the Candyman, it. My thoughts to you guys is like, why does he keep calling him the Candyman?
So my thought on it was like I was kind of asking the same thing, but I think I forgot who it was. It was someone, one of the members of the Abbott team, kind of like was like, wait, why does he keep calling him that? So we actually reached out to Patrick, and Patrick told us that you were from like another league and that you would always race uh, candy schemes on your car.
Yep, that was pretty much. I was also in different leagues as far as the super speedways, and I raced the Hershey Kisses. I had different paint schemes, so I started winning races, and people started calling me the Candyman, and so the name's stuck. I love it. Gives me identity. Um,
Like it.
And now every time I'm out there on broadcast and stuff, and see this paint scheme of Hershey Kisses, boom, it's the
Candyman.
Candyman. Yep.
It's kind of cool. So obviously you said that Patrick gave you a little nickname of the Candyman, right? It's calling you that. If you watch the broadcast, you'll see Patrick has little nicknames for everybody in the league. Like you got Michael Bennett, the Navigator. You got
Yep.
Grant, the Fuel Calculator. You have Justice, like the Road Course Ace. Myself, Mr. Sixth Place. And then there's a few others that he says here and there for people, but yeah, there's
Yep.
definitely some people that here that go by a certain name, and it's just stuck really to be honest. So it's nice.
And I like it. I like how everybody's got some nicknames because everybody's got their different style. So, um, yeah, and that's why I got stuck with the Candyman because of this paint scheme. I love this paint scheme because it's a throwback of Kevin Harvick. Even I know he's retiring this year, but I've always liked that paint scheme. I did have one that was a blue and gold of the Hershey's cookies and cream. I might bring that out one time, for a throwback type thing. Nobody doesn't see that. It's a unique paint scheme. People love it, and so that's why I just stick with the Hershey Kisses.
All right, nice to know that you don't like the 24 because he's a crybaby, but yet you like some guy that fights with his
Okay.
helmet on. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Not wrong.
but anyway, again, thank you, Daniel, so much for coming on. Justice, as always, thank you for sticking by and showing up every single week to this, unlike other people. So we'll see what we have next week. Hopefully, we have a couple more guys on here. And but yeah, but again, thank you for everyone listening and watching, and thank you for always supporting us. Always be sure to check out us at Raising Revolution. We go live every Wednesday night at 8:30 on Simtrax Broadcasting. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram. Uh, that's kind of it already. Oh, sorry, website too. Um, what is it? Uh, iRacing Revol. Oh my God, iRacingRacingRevolution.com. Check us out. I'll be updating the website here in a few hours, most likely after we do NIS. It also has a link to the broadcast there as well, and it'll always automatically update with the next and newest podcast episode if you scroll halfway down the page. And also check us out on Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Thank you. Also, that's a lot to say. I should write that all down going forward. That's all coming off my memory. So thank you. I know I'm really good. I have a great memory. I don't know how to spell. Shout out to Michael Bennett. Anyway, good night, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and you will check us out next week. See ya.